Good evening. Formally, good evening. I think we now have the quorum. We are missing one person. I think had joined. Maybe there's a problem with the internet, but we can proceed. Today we need to finish this paper. We have looked at question 3. We did look at question 3. We went on to look at question 4A, and today we'll look at B. Then we'll go to question 1 and 2 until we are done with this paper. So that tomorrow we can again pick another paper with different scenarios, but what I've observed, these things are just the same. I don't think there is anyone who's going to fail, and it will just be very unfair. It will just be very unfair, trust me. So let me read question 4, and will not take long in answering this, responding to the question. Will not take long, and I'll show you the gimmick that you can use in the exam. You don't need to start afresh. That same template that you've been given, or that you will be given from your Click app, you can use that to respond to sub questions. Like in this case, we'll be looking at question B. So the question reads, you learn from the media that the South African Revenue Services has made available a tax allowance for investment in photovoltaic equipment. The scheme works as follows. The amendment allows for depreciation in the year of commissioning of the full 100% cost of a grid-tied solar PV systems of less than 1 megawatt. So what they mean there shows that if, for example, the project is commissioned in November, you will need to apply full depreciation. You don't need to prorate it for 1 month or so. No, you will need to apply full depreciation. Then they go on to say the capital depreciation allows for solar PV systems greater than 1 megawatt. Greater than 1 megawatt allows full depreciation over 3 years. This permits depreciation of 50% of the capital cost in the year of commissioning, 30% in the subsequent year, and 20% in the third year. This is accelerated depreciation. So if you look at the first scenario we looked at under question 4, we assumed that depreciation, that this asset is going to be depreciated over 10 years, over a period of 10 years, using straight line. But then the next sub question, the examiner wants us to model the capital allowances. So I told the capital allowances allows for solar PV systems greater than 1 megawatt, allows full depreciation over 3 years. This permits depreciation of 50% of the capital cost in the year of commissioning, 30% in the subsequent year, and 20% in the third year. Assume that you will sell the power from your PV system, as described in question 3, to the building tenants for 1,600 rands per megawatt. It is a big company, and the tax rate is 42.4%. Using the T general template, this was provided to you on ClickUp. We don't need that for now. Calculate the following, showing in each case how you obtain your answer. A, the internal rate of return and net present value of a project based on the standard 10-year straight line in depreciation, which we adequately or competently answered. B, the IRR, internal rate of return, sorry, and NPV of a project based on the new rules for systems greater than 1 megawatt. So any system greater than 1 megawatt will need to prepare or perform accelerated depreciation. So our assets will be depreciated within 3 years. First year, it will be 50%. That is a year of commercial operation. 50% will be charged in that year. In the following years, in year 2, we're actually going to pick 30% of the capex or total asset value. In the third year, we are actually going to depreciate the assets by 20%. So let's go to our spreadsheet. So if it was in the exam, this is what you should do. In the exam, you don't need to waste a lot of time. So what you do, you just pick this, where from here, you don't need to recalculate. Where do I pick it from? I'll pick it from here. So that you don't have so much lazy time or unproductivity. So you copy this, control copy, or control C is copying. So copy that. I don't think I've copied anything. Yeah, let me redo it. Start from here. So that you don't waste time, then you do like this. Copying. And press it here. So you pick your capex in year 0. So your capex in this case is 30 million. Let me pick it somewhere. Where is it? I'll pick it from here. So the only difference you have is just on depreciation. So all these numbers have been maintained. So what do we do now? So I'll change this. All you do, you can just pick from up there on the discount factors. Once you pick, highlight, which is Control-Shift down arrow key, and press Control-R, meaning you're copying to the right. So that the numbers that we have in here, in B, should be equal to what we have in A for now. So there's a number that is missing, I guess so. We'll come here. I'm just checking on the numbers. Free cash flow. What else is missing? Where are the numbers? Okay, let me just restart this part for you to understand it well. So I can see where I've gone wrong. Let me just compare. We just compare. Just bear with me. Numbers, okay. There's a number that is missing here. Sorry. Okay, we'll continue. I think there's a number that is missing. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's just do this quickly. Mhm. Okay, so what you do, you copy what you had in question A4, so that you just reduce on the time that you do this, so that the numbers are not getting any pleasure from these numbers. I don't know why. Okay. So you have been told to use, the only difference you're going to have now is just on the depreciation here. We have been told that this particular investment will need to be depreciated within 3 years. So what have we been told on the, I'll put an assumption here. So say CapEx sorry, depreciation, amortization. Oh, depreciation. This is accelerated depreciation. We are told is 50%, 30%, and 20%. I like color coding them. Okay. So from here, we need now to bring in depreciation. So the depreciation would be the asset value, which is the 30 million rands log, which is F4, times that. Okay. So we come to the NPV, which is net present value. All you're doing, you're discounting. You're discounting the future cash flows today. So we have a function called NPV, which you can use, or you can just go directly and do the summations, because we have these future cash flows, which is in here, which have already been discounted. All we need to do is to add that. Where is it starting from? Okay, is to add that. Then on the internal rate of return, we'll say IRR. Then we pick the future cash flows here. Okay. There's something that is not making sense. If I come here and just go to the depreciation discussion. This is what I wanted to do. I come here and pick these numbers. Where's the depreciation? Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Which will be 14% and the NPV of 646 negative. Something that is not making sense. This thing is not making sense. Let me just restart. Okay, so we have revenues starting in year 2, which will be these revenues that we had computed here. Nothing is going to change, so you just pick them from there. Then we have the fixed cost, which is 150, I think. You can still pick them from this question here. Sorry. Then we have the fixed cost. Oh, the fixed costs I've already picked them. Sorry. Depreciation. So say equals minus that times that. Lock that. So you have these numbers for B. They are really quiet, huh? There's some number that because okay, depreciation here. So we pick depreciation, which we're going to add back, which is that. What are these numbers? Are you even there? You know, I'm trying to modify what is up there because I didn't want to take time. I didn't want to take time. Are you there?
Yes. Your profit before tax.
Yeah.
On your. Yeah.
I can't get you, Shoro. Your internet is very bad.
Serious.
Your internet is not okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
The profit before tax.
Yeah.
The profit before tax.
It's a
That profit before tax, isn't it supposed to be exactly the same as on the first question, because it was 50% on that book?
I can't get you. You can just write even a text. Write a text.
Oh, this one was three.
This was something I'm not seeing here. The numbers are not making sense. Let me come here, because on the NPV, some number that is not making sense. If I come here, just a moment. Okay, I've seen where the error is. And just do this part.
I'm getting 21.
Yeah. Because you see, if I replace depreciation, because it's the same thing, for B, you are going to have these numbers here. The 646 negative NPV and the 14% internal rate of return. I don't know why it's missing. Let's come here. We have a difference. Free cash flow 908, 906. What's the free cash flow here? Oh, so taxation, sorry, taxation, the 115. Okay, the problem is here. Oh yeah, it wasn't picking the first part. If I do like this, you can see it wasn't picking the revenues. What else? 093, 093, then 15,000. The numbers that are missing. Let me just do this. Sorry. And free cash flows. I've seen it has picked this number. What was this number for? I think this thing of, let me just put the numbers nicely. This is okay, this is okay, this is okay. Okay, it's okay. So on this question, Tim, the only thing that was changing, it was on depreciation. You have depreciation, which is accelerated based on the South African authorities, the tax authority or SARS. So you have this tax, we have this depreciation. That's the only thing that was changing. So your NPV would be negative 646,004. Internal rate of return would be 14%. And most of the projects that I've seen and maybe audited, it's possible having an NPV which is negative and also continue, or they'll carry on the investment, especially if it's a small negative. So this is what it is on B. Any questions? We move to question 1 completely new.
No, there's no further question. I think I'll get it later because my values are same. But it's fine. I'll retake it later. I don't know why.
Okay. Tiam, are you around?
No, I'm here, Mr. Patrick. I'm here.
Okay, so what I was saying in the exam, just as a simple for your efficiency, when you do the first part of the question and where they require you to change the method, all you do, you just pick the table as is, press it down and do a bit of some editing. This exam, it's how many hours? Your exam, 3 hours?
Yeah, it's 3 hours.
Yes, that's 3 hours.
What I've seen in this exam of yours, you can even do it in under 2 hours. Okay. So now we go to this was solution 3 and 4. We then now go to question 1, then we'll do question 2 tonight. So question 1. Question 1 reads, you have an option of either buying a new machine for 2 million rands or employing 4 people to do the same job at the annual wage of 100,000 per person per year. Assume the following. Equipment maintenance is 2% of the capital cost per year. The discount rate equivalent to your working average cost of capital is 16%, and the project duration is 10 years. Salaries are paid at the end of the year, as from the end of year 1. Why they had to put that line is to make sure that you discount these numbers. Because if it was the first day of the month, then for year 0 or year 1, we are not going to discount. But in this case, we are told that the salaries are paid at the end of the year. What do they want us to do? One, they want us to find the AW, which is basically your annual equivalent annual or annual equivalent plus your OPEX. In that particular year. So then it gives you the annual worth of both options. On the EA or AE, which is the annual equivalent, we know that on this one, we should be able to use PMT. Do a sensitivity analysis showing the variation in the AW of both options, separated with 25% changes in WACC, plus or minus changes in WACC. Capital cost, option 1 only. So option 1 only, and number of employees, option 2 only. So we'll need to do this. I may show you how to create data tables. That is what we use for what if, so that you do it quickly. We'll try to draw these parts, it's fine. We are told, assume that wages are rising. At what salary per employee are the 2 options equivalent? Assume that the wages are rising. At what salary per employee are the 2 options equivalent? So here now, we'll only look at 1 employee against option 2. Now assume that work is falling. At what value of work are the 2 scenarios equivalent? Use best case conditions apart from 1. So we'll do a sensitivity there. Then the theory can answer it. Okay. So we have the game plan already. Just clear this. Write it there. So we'll start with option 1. So on option 1, let's just put this. It's a machine. So it's either we have a machine. This machine is going to cost 2 million. Then we are told on O&M. On O&M equipment maintenance. So maintenance of the equipment. What have we been given? 2% of the capital cost. So 2%. of capital cost. This is only option 1. What else on option 1? On option 1, we are told equivalent to your working average cost of capital, which is 16%. So I've been given WACC, 16%. What else? And the project duration. Project duration is 10 years. I'll just do like this so that I don't waste time. What other thing? Salaries are paid at the end of the year, that we know is no brainer. But then first we start with the first one, which is option 1. We have 10 years. So I'll go like this. If you don't want to waste time putting those things, then I know you have templates. All you do, if I come here, I can do this part. Wait. There's a bit of some Excel, sometimes it's important. That's fine. I can go to series. So on series, I can say columns 1 up to 10. So I'll just type like this. It will go down like this, but I want the columns. So I can come to fill and do like this. Because here now we have the rows to be in there in one row. So say step 1, stop value at 10. So I can do this. That is if you had not, maybe you are taught to model a project whose economic lifespan is 50 years. So instead of me typing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can just go in there, go to home. From home, I go to fill. Under fill, I go to series. Series, then I show my endpoint. That this is the endpoint. I'm going to go up to 10. So to take me up to 10. Okay, but that's not important enough. So these are the years. Okay, so on option 1, what have we been taught? They'll purchase. Let me put 0 here, sorry. So option 1, we are told about the machine that will be bought just now, which is 2 million. We'll do that. What other costs? O&M, or say maintenance, maintaining this equipment. We are told that this equipment will be maintained year on year. So I'll log that times 2% of maintenance costs. I'll also log it by having double. So to go up to there, there's nothing that is here. You guys, you should pass your exams. I'll do this. Oh, sorry. I'll do that. So here now we have the total cost or cash outflows. Too quiet. So I've been told that the the NPV, the work is 16%. Now you know what this is. So if I come here and say discount factor, so on the discount factor, I'll bring in these numbers. It's 1 divided by 1 plus, I pick the 16%, which is what? I log this number to the power 0 there. You should be able to give me 1. But since you are used to percentages, I'll put a percentage sign. And I write up to year 10 and press Ctrl R. These are the discount factors. You can even have a bit of some decimals so that you put a bit of life on it. Now that you have these numbers, if I want to do my NPV here, let me just put it there. My NPV, I'll come here and say equals some product. I'm just changing. We'll do it differently, but just like that. Then I'll pick these numbers up there, comma, pick these numbers up there and press enter. So I've that NPV. If I wanted, I could say another NPV formula just to have. So I'll say this plus NPV. The rate is 16%, comma, then we have this range here. Which is that. So depending, it is entirely dependent on you, on yourself, on what method you want to use. But maybe if you want to pick a bit of max, because from what I've seen, your lecturer would want you to do this and say, or your examiner maybe, but doesn't, just waste your time. Say 2 million times 100% up to year 10, control 1 there. So another NPV will be equal sum. Pick these numbers and add. But we have been told to calculate the, what have we been taught? The annual worth of both options. Okay, so the annual worth, what did we say on the annual worth? First, you find the annual equivalent, which in this case I can say AV. So under that, it will be PMT. I guess you should remember. The rate is 16%, comma. The number of periods, it is 10, comma. What else are we given here? Then the present value is 2 million. I'll do that. So this is the annual equivalent. I don't know why I put TV. So the annual equivalent, but then if we want to find the AW equals annual equivalent plus the annual maintenance or OPEX. Yes. So for us now to get the annual worth, we'll first add the 413 there. I'll remove the negative, plus the OPEX, I'll pick it from here, which is the 40,000. I'll need to remove the negative sign. Do this. So this is the annual worth of only option 1. Then we got option 2. You're too quiet. Maybe someone should just leave one of you should leave the mic open. Don't mute so that I'm able to hear, even just some noise. Rico, I might be alone here.
No,
Rico,
we are here, sir.
Okay.
We are here.
We're
Following.
Okay, so that is your AWO for under option 1. So we then now go to option 2. So what I would do to ease my time, I'll do something like this. I'll start from here. Copy that. So on option 2, we are told that they need to employ how many? Four people. So they'll employ 4 labor grades. So number of employees. We are saying there are 4. Their salary. Each is 100,000 each. What other costs do they have? So employing 4 people to do the same job at the annual wage of 100,000 per year, doing the same job. And they'll do it for 10 years. Okay. So we have those numbers. So here now, what we'll do, we'll say, we'll remove this. We'll just come here and say salary or salaries. So from here, we have the salaries. What is it? 100,000 every year. Okay. What else? So we have 100,000 per employee, but I think we should not leave it there because we're comparing. They're coming up with a machine. It's either you have a machine worth 2 million and start spending 40,000 year on year, or you employ 4 labor grades, don't know the skill set, you employ 4 people to do a similar job that could be done by a machine that should have actually, which the organization should have just spent 2 million. So now we're trying to debate, we're trying to come up with a decision, or you as technocrats, you're giving your management decision points. So in this case, we are going to say times, because they are not just employing 1 person, times 4. So we'll have that. In terms of the NPV, because the present value is that, but these are negatives. Remember that this is just basically cost. So that is basically cost, don't worry. Sit. So we'll do the same thing in terms of the annual worth. So the annual worth here is the 400,000 there. It's basically your OPEX. This 400, that would be your AW. All these projects, we're actually looking at one on the NPV, which is, these are negative NPVs, guys, because we're dealing with costs. So all these are negatives. So if we were to compare option 1 and option 2, you come up with a table now. You say option 1, option 2. So on the AW, option 1 gave us the AW of 453.80. Here it is 400,000. So between the two, which one is a better option?
Option 1.
Option 1? Any contra or violent views?
I agree with that, Tolo.
Sorrow. Which one among these two? Think differently.
Hey, I'm not sure, because I'm not sure whether the annual rent should be high or if it's high, it's good.
Now remember this, guys. Remember this. We are dealing with costs, because then what you are saying that option 1, you will need to be spending on the annual basis at least 453,802. Option 2, you'll be spending 400,000. Again, I put this question to the house. Which option is better?
2.
Option 2.
Yeah, if you're spending, you have to spend less.
I know what was in your mind. One, what confused you was this NPV. It's just, it's a present value, but basically these are costs.
Yes.
Okay.
Siamo, is it okay? I know Rico
Understood.
now understand. Okay, thank you.
And Patrick, if I'll take you back a little bit.
Please do.
Your brackets. Okay? Go on option 1. I think that's where my issue is. On annual, that annual equivalent.
So
Well, how do you put those brackets? Because how do you keep those brackets, the value in brackets? Because I think that's
okay, we'll
what
put it like
makes
this. Then even here, we'll remove this negative.
I think that's what messed up my depreciation.
Okay, is it? Okay. So in short, what we are saying that option 1, you'll be spending slightly higher than option 2. So if everything is okay, it's the same. If the conditions are as is, then we'll say we can go for option 2. Because we'll just get for South Africans and they start working instead of getting a machine. And the labor office is going to record that in this particular month, we have created so many jobs. Politically, it's okay. Well, this is what I'm saying, of having human beings. But maybe with time, those human beings could be dead, you need to pay funeral grant and all these other things. So there could be a lot of hidden costs other than that 100,000 that have been paid. But for now, based on the numbers we have, we think option 2 is okay. So let's go to sensitivities. That's my area of interest. So we have answered this question, the annual worth of both options, we have gotten it. And B, which option will be better for you? Why? It's not always that we should say option 2 is the best. But you're saying based on limited information we have, option 2 is just the least cost than option 1. However, there could be other costs that would come in for just having employees instead of a machine. Employees, if I'm trying to defend why I should go for option 1, I'll say employees, human beings cannot be fully trusted. They are not machines. With time, we may end up seeing a lot of inefficiencies creeping in. 1, it could be age. 2, the employees have their own problems at home, which they may shift into the organization structure and demoralize productivity. A machine, when it dies, it can be repaired. A human being you have to replace, and maybe other associated costs. But based on this, because you're professionals, you can say option 1 is option 2 is okay. However, there are these things that must be considered before a final decision is made by management. These human beings may be working in an environment where they have to switch on electricity. There are all these other costs that come in that are generated by human beings. We generate costs every day. The other thing could be also learning curve. You bring these human beings into, instead of having a machine, it may take time, that learning curve thing. So yes, you are supporting option 2, but you need to look at the downside of why you think if management picks option 2, these are the things that they may actually end up seeing. So it should be written nicely. You critique your option. You look at the advantages of the other option that you're not picking. Then down there you say, however, based on the numbers that we have and assuming that these employees will be working consistently for 10 years, generating these costs that have been already taken care of, I recommend that management should consider option 2. But then put in a disclaimer, because imagine management picks option 2, and these guys, they are involved in a riot after some time. They're involved in industrial unrest. They'll come on you as a professional, Siam, that you misrepresented and misled your board or management. So such questions, this is why you need to shine. You need to write nicely, critique, look at the advantages and disadvantages of the first option, advantages and disadvantages of the second option, just 1 line or 2 lines. Then pick now what you think is best for management. So B does not have a clear-cut answer. But then if you are picking, because your option is to pick for the one that shows least cost, then you can now say, however, with all these things that have been discussed, I recommend that management could consider. Don't use the term should. That's what I was told, that should is only used by God. You don't need to command your management to tell them, you should do this. No, that is a term reserved for God. Rico, isn't it? Is it okay up to B?
Yes, no, 100%, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw that comment you're talking about on LinkedIn from this other guy.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't be direct in giving people or basing people to choose that option.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And this is why, even when you are writing a management paper, recommending options, be a bit moderate, put in a bit of some disclaimer, but don't use the term should or must. Mm-hmm. Part C, do a sensitivity analysis showing the variation in the annual worth of both options separately with the plus or minus 25% changes in work. So this is how, and follow it correctly, this is how I would actually do it. Okay. Because the current one, we have this. So I'll come up with an option of saying the first work that we have, let me come here. So let me do this, sensitivity. Okay. So we have option 1, I'll say, I'll pick the work, which is that. So in here, we've been told, so sensitivity at 25%. This is plus or minus. Plus or minus 25%. So here, I'll take this and say, if it reduces or it increases by 1 plus 25%, or 20%. If it reduces, we have this times 1 minus that. These are the sensitivities that have been given. That is, this part here is best case. Then we have the worst case. Worst case. Then we have the best case. Others would use these terms. Don't get confused. Others would use this term. They'll say gray case, gray sky, sorry. How do I forget such things? You can Google it. Gray sky, meaning that it's the west. Then others then the best case, they'll call it blue sky. So when you're in a meeting, you hear someone is talking about what's the gray sky scenario. In short, it's just telling you what is the worst case scenario. Okay, these are just alternate terms that are used in the corporate world. So now, here we have, for the first scenario, I'll do this. For option 1, which is 450 or whatever, I'll hide that. You see, I'm going to hide it. Then you highlight so that you go to data tables. You go to data on sensitivities. You go to what if analysis. You go to data table.
Are we going to access this recording?
Yeah?
Are we going to access this recording?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
You'll find it on my YouTube account. So this is how it goes. So we have first for option 1, we want to check on the percentages. So we expect that 16%, we are going to get this AW there. But then what about 20% and 12%? So this is the sensitivity that we're actually going to place. So in this case, all we are actually doing, we are picking this case here. We're picking the variable that we need to apply on sensitivities, which in this case is the 16%, I think. So we have done the sensitivities. So check the trick that I would actually use for such scenarios. This one I was using for the data table. I don't want to show it like that. I can now press a different thing. I'll call it option 1. There's a number there, but I'll mask it. So I'll do control 1. Please, once we are done, practice this thing. I'll come here. I'll go to custom. I want to cheat Excel. I'm cheating Excel because it's very easy to cheat. So I'll say inverted comma, option 1, and inverted comma. So inverted comma, option 1, inverted comma. So I've hidden that number because I didn't want it to show, so that it shows that this is option 1. In short, this what is here is a number, but for you, you have just masked it. It's showing like it's just basically text, because I want to come up with a very nice, very, very nice sensitivity. So I'll do the same on option 2. Copy. I'll come there. Pick these same numbers. Control D, Control D. Then I'll change what is in here. What is in there? We'll say option 2. I'll pick that number there. So I'll do control 1 and change, because I want the examiner not to see what I've put there. Just wanted to show option 1, option 2. But in the actual sense, I'll put numbers there. So on option 2, again, I'll do the same thing. You highlight from here. This is how you use your data tables. Data tables are a miracle functionality in Excel, because we use them for sensitivities, not the way what I was seeing from I have to be very diplomatic. those worksheets, Rico, you know what I mean. Okay, let's move on. So you do that on option 2. Again, you go to what if. You go to data, what if. Guys, even after you're done, please spend time to do just modeling, just understanding Excel and the modeling part. So what we are picking is a row. So again, I'll go to 16 because what you have in here, these are rows. So if it was like this, then I was going to pick columns. So from there, I'll go to the 16% and press OK. So these are the scenarios. Now I can do a summary on these scenarios so that it looks nice. Okay. Are we really together? You're too quiet.
Yeah.
Okay. Option 2. So we have now on the best case, this is option 1. Option 2 is that. So you have seen that for the best case scenario, option 2, on best case scenario, option 2 is a better option because then it actually is the lowest. If anything, all these are very low on option 2, the salaries and the like, unless they start increasing salaries. Then you can see option 3 going down as well to 340. So I'll do this. Sorry. Just to beautify it. Okay. Are you there? Is it okay on the sensitivities? On this part, the first part?
100%.
Okay. So here now they're saying do a sensitivity analysis showing the variation in the AW of both options separately with plus minus 25% changes in work, capital cost, which is option 1, and the number of employees, option 2. Draw 2 separate graphs showing the relationship between the variables. Okay. So on the graphs, I'll do like this. Can pick this same thing here and do that. So here, you can change to options or sensitivities, annual width. Then control 1, just to beautify the chart. You can do this. No line. Then I can come here. Control 1. Again. Pick the tick marks outside. Change the color to black. I'll come there. Go to design. I need to show that those are runs. I'll come here and find the axis. I'll change this part. It's 100,000 rands. You can change this part to maybe 12 so that it's visible. These are just cosmetics. I wanted to bring that color. So we have a chart that shows for option 1 and option 2 on the cases. We have the base case, it's showing where we are. The costs are slightly higher than the base case. The base case, the costs are much, much lower. I could come up with a chart like this. Okay, let's go back to the question. Do a sensitivity analysis showing the variation in the AW of both options separately. I can still create those. Okay, with changes in blah, 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 capital cost and number of employees. Option 2, draw 2 separate graphs showing the relationship between the variables. So if I wanted, because I've come up with one chart, I don't know what your examiner wanted. Since once both different charts, I can still do option 1, then do option 2, but it's better like this because I'm able to compare them on one slide, one chart. I want to reduce these. I'll just do Control 1 and reduce the with this gap. Okay, save. On assume that the wages are rising. At what salary per employee are the two options equivalent? So, at what salary per employee are the two options equivalent? Where we have the base case being the same. So, at what point? So, this is what I would actually do. Assume the wages are rising. At what salary per employee are the two options equivalent? So from this side, at what point? Okay. So I'll come here and check on the sensitivities. We've been getting 100,000 all the time. I can then do a GOSIC if I wanted. And this is how I would do this GOSIC. I'd say, again, just check on this, guys. I'll go to data. I'll go to what if, I'll go to GOSIC. So I'll say, which one do I want to change? I want to change so I'll come here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'd want this option. One, which value? Sorry. It's distracting me. I'll pick this number here. So I'll say, what if GOSIC? Here now, I'll say, which number do I want to set? This number here. What number? To 4, 53802. By changing which number? I'll go up by changing the 100,000 here. So it's the salary per employee would actually change to 113. But I can still create a sensitivity down there. You so have seen these numbers. So what it means is that in getting same numbers or break-even where option 1 and option 2 are the same, the salary is supposed to be 113,451 rands. Any question?
I think it's clear on my end, Professor Patrick.
Okay, thanks.
So in most cases, the equivalent, when they're looking for equivalents, they're looking for a difference of 0. That's when you're going to be applying that goal seek.
Yes, because on the equivalent, what they want here. So whenever they tell you that the sensitivity at any given time should be the same, just apply a gossip. But I know if even a data table, I can still simulate that and just show. Let's do this. I think that would actually make sense. Let's do this. Let me reset this to 100,000. We'll leave it like that so that we don't confuse the thing. So I'll come here. I'll do another sensitivity on labor. So I'll call it labor sensitivity. So now I'll do this. Okay. We have the W thing where we can say if this number, I'll pick this number here. I'll say 400,000. So 400,000. I have, on this case, I want it to go to 453. 802. I'll do like this. I can put a number there. Okay, let me put first 500 so that you appreciate what I'm trying to do. So I have these two numbers on labor sensitivity. Then I'll do that. Number. So I'll do this. I'll say the 16. If it works. So then from here, I'd say, I hope it works. I'll go see it, I do this. I'll say data table. So the input, what I want to put in there is the 100,000. the employee. Mhm. Mhm. Like this, and do that. So. And to see how I can create that. I can create that. So say this is 400, 500. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so we have the 400 or 500. I'm just trying to see how, for this is a variable. Transaction here. Just trying to see what sensitivity I can use there on labor so that I have the numbers in here. Do this. Let me try again. What is another table? I pick the column. Still giving me 455. I think the best is to just apply the first one that we looked at on the sensitivity where you use the GOSIC. Then the GOSIC will give you the number that you want. I thought this one may be a bit tricky.
Okay.
Unless where you do this, you have 100,000 here. Yeah, okay. So that you don't disturb that number on top. You have the 100,000. Yeah, this one is okay. You have 100,000 here. Then you say this times that. We had 4 somewhere, blah, 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 blah. You have 4 here. And do this. Yeah, this one is better. Then now, all you want to do, you can then use your GOSIC so that you don't disturb what you have done up there. So your GOSIC, you're saying you want to set this to this value here, which is 453,802. By changing which value? By changing this value. Then you press OK. So this now shows your salary. The employee. Then total labor cost.
Okay.
I think this will be much simpler.
Yes, 100%.
So that then you have this number. You can even highlight it in yellow to show the examiner that this is what you have found there. Okay. Fair play. Yeah, or you're quiet. You're quiet. I'm just with Rico here, it seems so. Choro, that is how you keep quiet in class, in your lecture theater. Okay, so we then go to what is there. So you have checked, assume that the wages are rising. At what salary per employee are the 2 options equivalent? We found this 113,000. Now assume that work is falling. At what value of work are the 2 scenarios equivalent? Use base case conditions apart from work. At what value of work are the 2 scenarios equivalent. Again, we'll do this.
So we're looking for a percentage such that
Yeah.
the two scenarios will be equal.
Yes, yes. So now on this one is again work sensitivity. So then you come here. So we can do the similar thing there to check you have these percentages. So we'll do this. We've been told to pick the best case, isn't it?
Yes, this is the best case condition.
I'll do that. So on best case, let's say again, let me pick this 453, wherever it was coming from. Just check 453. This is option 1. Or I pick the option let me take that to okay. So we want to check on the percentages. So here we have 16%. Press it from up there. Okay. So we want to check at what point must the work reduce so that we get a break-even point there.
Yes.
So we have the 16%, which is this work, and we have 453 down there. So the only thing I think that we can do, we can say we have the 16. Then let me just put random numbers. Let me just put random numbers in here. 16 of that. So say you have 16%. I can even remove this part for now. I can pick 15%. I can pick 14%. I can pick 13%. I can pick 11%. I'll change these numbers. And I'll be here. Then you can pick this 453. Where is it? Option 1. Okay. Then I'll do this. Again, what if data row? I'm going to pick the 16% there. That gives me these numbers that I want. Why is it not picking? Yeah. Okay, then just do a go stick again. Mhm. So say, what if go seek, so that we find that number. Mhm. So say you have set this number here. This number here, we set it to 400,000 by changing the work. So you can see that the work will need to change to 12.4%.
Yes.
So you can pick this number and take it down there and say, this is what we are going to have as a sensitivity. So it will change to these numbers so that you have the this is very interesting. You have seen that all the numbers now, they are the same. Option 1 and option 2. If you had that, if you change the work to about, if the work reduces to 12.4,
To 12%.
so
Yes.
you have this. So that is the number that you're going to show under work sensitivity. So you can do this. So we can pick that number on work sensitivity and just delink it from down there. So you can pick this number. So I can say copy, Control V, and do that. So of this number, then on top, I can return it back to 16%, which was there, so that I don't disturb things. So we know that if we had 12.4%, this is interesting. If we had 12.45%, option 1 will equal to option 2. Interesting. Any questions up to this level or any observation?
I think I'm still following from my side.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, for me, I'm lost in this work sensitivity. I'm saying I'm lost, yeah, in this work sensitivity.
Okay. Rico, can you just explain it to 20, then we'll still review it.
But for Patrick, why?
Explain.
Okay, so the word sensitivity, Jeff, basically in a broader spectrum, it means that we're trying to see what factor does changing whatever parameter that we're focusing on will have on what we have. That's sensitivity. So in these cases, they were looking for equivalence between option 1 and option 2. As you can see on the first one, they wanted to find the sensitivity by changing the salary. So what is that base salary that we need to have in order for option A or option 1 and option 2 to be equal? So remember, even our professor, that goal seek thing. So you're trying to find that baseline salary that will make both cases to be the same. So for this case that now Fitzpatrick was doing, they specifically said changing work, so changing the interest rates. So that means that there is a baseline interest rate that will assure that option A or option 1 will equal to option 2. So you're trying to find now what percentage rate will assure that option 1 is equal to option 2. So that's when you went and you did your goal seek based on the values of option 1 and option 2. So you're trying to standardize one option to be the same as the other by changing the work. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's sweet.
Okay.
So this is what we are trying to do. Okay. So we went to F, then to E. F, you are going to do that your research and do the theory about labor and the capital opportunities. So we go to question 2. Question 2 reads, you are considering joining a Stokvel, which is a savings mechanism widely used in South Africa. Different schemes have different objectives, but the general principle is that members of the Stokvel make a monthly contribution to a central fund, which is used to cover unusual expenses, such as a funeral, or pay a windfall to the members on a rotational basis. It is a form of mutual financial assistance, which can be viewed partly as insurance, partly as a savings mechanism, and partly as a means of building social cohesion. You are mainly interested in the Stokvel Mogadishu, which operates according to the rule that each member contributes 150 per month. So we go to this question 2. I remove grid lines. So contribution per month. Contribution per month is 150 rands. The money is banked in an account which receives the monthly interest payments of 0.7%. 0.75%. So interest. Say monthly interest. 0.75%. The members are paid out every 2 years, only the sum of their contributions, no interest, and they have the option of leaving the money in the Stokvel. Assume that you decide that you will leave the money in the Stokvel and withdraw the total amount of your contributions after 10 years. So, period, 10 years. So you let the money continue flowing for 10 years, or you continue contributing for 10 years. The question becomes simpler when you start breaking it down. Assume that you decide that you leave the money in the Stokvel and withdraw the total amount of your contributions after 10 years. An alternative option for you is that you contribute 150 per month to your own savings account, which makes an interest of 0.75%. Calculate the following based on a period of 10 years. What will be the value of your contribution to Mogadishu at the end of 10 years? Because there's no interest in it. So A, come here. So after 10 years, we expect that you have 10, let me just put months in a year. I know it's obvious. It's 12 months. So, A, what is the value of your contributions? Would be 150 per month times 10 years times 12 months. 18,000 rands. Secondly, what are they asking? What will the future value be of your contributions to your savings account? So if it is the savings account, remember that you'll be having this 0.5% per month. Let me do the longer one for you to understand, then we'll do the shorter one, so that we just understand what is required here. Let's just moderate a bit. Not that in the exam you need to do that. You will do in the exam with just a very simple thing that you can do under 2 minutes, you're done. But let's do this. Let's say you have month 1, month 2, month whatever, which is 120 months. So this is what we'll do. I'll type 1 here. This is where that shortcut I was telling you, this is where it becomes handy. You say home, you go to fill, you go to series, it's already in rows, then I'll say 120. Then from here, I'll say contributions. That, and bring it here. Contributions, 150. Not that you're supposed to do, you're not supposed to do this. I'm just trying to illustrate your point. So these are your contributions. Every month, Rico, you are actually contributing at 150 in your savings account. So this is what is going to happen cumulatively. Please understand this concept. I'll say equals sum that for colon, then I'll lock this one, the first one. I'll lock it. So cumulatively, this is how your money would be. This is the 18 million that you have, the 18,000, sorry, at the end. Do this. So every month you'll be saving, and this is how it's going to go like. So you expect this fund, if I do F11, where's F11 here, the chart. So your money will grow like this. Cumulatively, this is what you will be having. So we'll make it here. So cumulatively, this is how you'll actually be making this money. Now, okay. So, but this money, what do we expect? it will be earning interest, isn't it, on a monthly basis?
Yes.
Mhm. So the interest it will be earning will be this times
0.75.
0.75. Lock that by pressing F4. Mhm. Mhm. So meaning that in terms of interest, we have this amount. Mhm. Then plus your contributions. This is how I'm understanding that. Your last part, which is cumulative, which is your 18. Mhm. So cumulatively, you have something like this. Mhm. But then we are taught in B, what are we taught? Let's go back to the question. What will the future value be of your contribution to your savings? Mhm. Mhm. So there's a function which is for you to calculate the future value. So the future value will be equals FV is future value. Mhm. Can even come up with the future value schedules. Mhm. Control A, what's the rate? The rate is this, a month. Number of periods, it is 10 times 12, isn't it? 120. Mhm. What is your monthly payment or contribution that you'll be making? Would be this.
Yes.
Mhm. So in total, in terms of your future value, this will be your amount there. Mhm. Which is different from what we got down here. Just want to see, I just like contextualizing concepts. Mhm. So there's a difference of how much? Of 2,800. Okay. So in short, if we are to look at this, let me try another method. I would say, sorry. I would say, this is the interest. Okay, I'm here, I say interest, let me check if I was to get something. Yeah, I just want to check, guys. Period, 1, number of periods, 120, current value, Just want to check on something. I can do this. Instead of having that 150 there, I just want to bring on it cumulative. So this is just for 1 month, which is 78. Okay, so be short, but then if you're using the future value, I wanted to find another one, but if you're using the future value, this is what you'll get, which will be 29,027 kwacha. Yes, down here. Because they're asking what will the future value be of your contributions to your savings. So this is how they are getting their, do this. So the future value, this will be the future value. So I'm seeing a question where it should be compounding. Not the way we had actually done it. I think it should be compounding going this side. Okay. So for this question, you needed not to take more than 5 minutes, these two. So let's just check. Hello?
Yeah.
So let's just check, we review how your lecturer was computing this, but from observation, yeah, a big matata. So let me just do this. We will start with the first one. We review or review. It's like you're failing to answer his own question, which is strange. So I got question 1. So we have option 1 and option 2. We had option 1, which is that. So option 1, 453,802, 453,802. Here on option 2, he only looked at for 1 employee. For me, I think that doesn't make sense because the option of buying an equipment or having employees or employing people was on a condition that you're going to employ 4 people. So when I look at the annual worth, I'm not looking at it for only 1 person. I'm looking at it for the 4 people that will be employed there. So there's no way you could have compared 1 person against a machine that was an option. The option which was there for for that equipment to be acquired was 4 employees. So there's no way you could have looked at only 1 employee there.
Seems like when you go down, those options, I don't know.
Yeah, now on option 2, here now he has put this, which is okay. But on the annual worth, because I'm not looking at only 1 person, Because then now it will be like I'm comparing this particular equipment you want to buy against employing one person. That's just my thinking. I don't know what others feel. Siamo, let me get your
We
views.
get
Yeah, I do agree with you in that regard, but then I think the question itself was specific to say we need to focus on one employee. I'm just not sure if maybe I misread it, but then the question itself was specific, but then how you're approaching it to say that, you know, the annual worth obviously should consist of 4 people, then
That's question 1, huh? Let's check. Okay, the annual worth of both options. Was there one somewhere? You have an option of either buying a new machine for 2 million rands or employing 4 people to do the same job at the annual wage of 100,000 per person per year. Oh, that's internet. Sorry, I had bad connectivity. Okay, then just see where they're saying equipment maintenance is 2% of the capital, whatever the discount rate, blah, blah, blah. And the project duration is 10 years. Salaries are paid at the end of the year. So A, the annual worth of both options. Where is it, somewhere they are on part A, he wanted to only have 1 person compared to the machine's worth.
just go up. I'm just not, hence I'm saying I'm not sure if I read correctly. Machine employee. Okay, that's enough for me. Average costs.
Stop that. Stop.
Okay. No, I think, yeah. No, I think I read from, just go down a bit. Yeah, I think okay. Now I picked up from here. Can you see question D? It says, assume that wages are rising at what salary per employee to options equivalent. I think I picked up from there. Yeah.
But is it logical in the way we are thinking that you can't look at the annual worth of a machine plus the monthly maintenance cost of 40,000 against one employee, when we know that the equivalence of those 4 of the machine should be 4 employees. So for me, this makes sense to compare the annual worth, because in here we know that we have 4 employees. You have an option either to buy that particular equipment, maintain it on an annual basis, spend 40,000 every year, or just go and pick some able-bodied people, 4 of them, and give them a salary of 100,000 per year. So this is how I think this is more logical than what he had done. Then come into this. So the difference, you see why I have a problem. He got this difference of using 1 employee against the machine plus the 40,000, which is coming from the annual maintenance, which is trace precedence. Where is it? So he picks this machine, annualize the machine, and add the 40,000. Then here now, he got confused on option 2. He only looked at only one person and compared the two. So if you compare the two, which one would you pick? Obviously, you would actually say, I would go for you. Instead of buying a machine, I'll go for option 2, where I just employ human beings. But how many people are you employing? Because like this, you may mislead management and you'll get fired.
No, I would like to think there was a typo there. I think he meant to multiply by 4. I would like to believe so.
Yeah. Support your local team.
But then on that at the bottom,
Because now, yes, as you can see on the
what
table,
did he do? Did he multiply or he just
the sensitivities.
yeah, he just plugged it in 400 or he multiplied on that? He just
I think these values
wrote the value.
Hmm?
Option 2, on option 2,
he
at
inputted.
400.
Hmm.
I want on option 2, Patrick. I just wanted to see the formula behind the 400.
The 400?
Yeah.
It's just a value.
No, here what it
You can
is,
double
just
click.
got these values. There are no formulas.
There are no,
Yeah, in option 1 as well, there were no formulas.
There are no formulas.
But if you check these numbers, as we use data tables to create these scenarios, where ideally this 16%, all you're saying, this is where you're starting, this is a base. Then here you have plus 25% increase. Then here you have minus 25% decrease. So you have these numbers there, which I can bring here. So from our side, we have formulas. Him, I think, was just doing go seek. He pastes go seek, he pastes. I know he's not a financial modeler, so you don't expect him to do something different. So where you have minus 25% on your, so you can see you have 393. So this is how you should have done it. We have these numbers on capital. So he had capital only increasing by 25%. So he did quite a number of sensitivities, but he was just adding them. He was copying and pasting, but it's supposed to be like this. This 567,253, there should have been a formula here. On the 5 plus whatever, you can see we have the 340, 352. So these ones were capital. Then on employees as well, if you was to increase, say, employees by 25% plus minus 25%, these are the numbers that you would actually get. So these factors. Then I don't think it did any break even. It didn't come up with a scenario which shows both options being equal, either changing the what is it? Changing the work. It didn't look at that. So it didn't look at this. It didn't look at the on work sensitivity of 12.451. Any questions up to this level?
But there are in that our Excel.
Oh, so you see what we did? We didn't answer this question in 4. We only looked at 25% on work. So we should have also looked at plus or minus 25% on the capital cost, or just need to do that on option 1 only, and number of employees. Let's just do that before we go to the other one. And this is where they were asking to coming up with a draw separate graphs. Now it makes sense. So you do on what, which we did, then we come to capital cost for option 1. So let me do that. So you come to capital cost. Again, on capital cost, this is what you're going to do. Is it? I'll pick this number. So just on option 1. So on the best case, you are picking the capital cost of 2 million, isn't it? That. Then you've been told on the worst case, you increase your 2 million by what? By 25%. Then on the best case, you reduce your 2 million by 25%. So option 1, we are actually picking the AW annual worth. Then you do this, guys, just that. Go to what if, data, what if, data tables, these are in rows. So it's saying by changing which, by changing that 2 million there. So you have these numbers. This is option 1. Okay, bye. Okay. Okay. So this is on capital costs. Okay, so on capital cost, what other? It's on labor. So on labor as well, you do the same again. Just do this. Just go. So on labor, we have the 100,000 here, the employee. Where is it? So we are saying that if the salary increases by 25%, one plus 25%. Are you there or you're sleeping?
Still yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have that times 1 minus 1 minus 25%. Okay, bye, Mama. Eh? I'm teaching, yeah, uncle and auntie, they'll beat you. Go. Good night. Good night. Has even distracted me. I'm distracted. Okay.
Is our future Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm even feeling bad because we're taking her time.
It's late for her. She will have more time with me next week after you write your exams. So have this. So then this is where now we do something like that. Again, here we'll pick the annual worth, which is option 1. Do this and do that. Go to what if, go to data tables. This is a very powerful tool. Then what we want is the output in there. So how to find where the 100,000 is. It's here. Let me do that. So we have these numbers on labor. You can see that the numbers are the same, huh?
Yeah.
Regardless of the scenarios that you are playing with. So this is how it's going to come out in option 1. So this is what he was trying to play with. You have seen that these numbers were the same as well. Minus 25, you have that, you have that. Don't know what this thing is on the other one, but that's how it is. On the capital cost, employees, and it was capital cost, employees. There were 3, huh? Let me just check. So it was on what, which we have done, capital cost and the number of employees. On number of employees is now looking at option 2. I think it was okay. It was option 2 basically, I think. Oh, yeah, option 2. How do we forget this? So on number of employees, this should have been option 2. Where is option 2? This one here. Yeah. Then data table. So these are the numbers that we'll get. That's it. So those are the numbers, and the employees, the 500 and 300, which he highlighted. But he couldn't answer most of his questions. You can see most of his questions were not answered. Maybe he needed me to answer them for you, so that he keeps on making you to fail.
At that time, he's saying to me.
So we have answered all the questions. So what he wanted you to do is to come up with this first chart, which actually looks at the sensitivity. This was the sensitivity on what? This was on what sensitivity? So if you want to go to the other option, again, you do the same thing. You can just pull the same graph. You don't need to restart. you use the same graph tool, you just change variables. So if I was going to option 2, I'll do the same thing. Sorry. Let's say I'm going to capital cost. So on capital cost, let's say option 1, I'll pick the numbers and the capital cost. These were numbers that I'll pick. Then I'll pick also option 2. But option 2, this, okay, yeah. So option 2 as well, I could have done option 2. Then after I'm done, I just change this chart. I copy the chart and change the dimensions so that I don't need to restart. So if you want, you can even just restart that. So that was the question on that. This, remember this was the easiest of all. Solution. Question 2, there was nothing that was there. It was just that on the future value and contributions of 18. And how many marks? This one was 30, but this one, question 2, question 2, it didn't even deserve to have 15 marks. So it's supposed to be 3 marks. Okay. So tomorrow I'm not going for work, but obviously we'll have to start at about the same time. I went for injections, you know, about the problem, stomach pains. Yeah. So today I think we'll conclude, but let me just hear you out as you check out. Let me just get your experiences being part of the academy. So you can start, Sholo.
Yes, Patrick.
Check out. You go by the hotel, you sign in those forms.
No, I was reading a question here. Sorry, I think I was searching for something to ask. So that's why I maybe someone can just continue and I'll check out later.
Okay. Tiamo, yeah, the captain for this group. It was your initiative. So how was today's?
No, today was good, man. You know, I must admit, you know, I believe majority of us came in, you know, a bit exhausted because we did practices, you know, throughout the day. Yeah, and yeah, you know, I only started picking up, I think maybe 30 minutes into your lecturing, so it was good. Yeah, like you said, man, we just need practice in actually understanding and mastering the art of modeling, basically, you know, and then once we get that, I think, yeah, and I believe that we will come all right.
Sure.
Thank you
JM,
very much, man.
Thank you so much. JM. Ndrogu. Is she even around? Okay.
Hi, Patrick. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
No, I can say for myself.
I can barely hear you. Is it just me? Hello? Hello?
Patrick, I don't know if you are talking but the sound is not coming out.
Oh, okay, but are you able to hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, I'd lost connectivity. No, I didn't hear what you said.
Hi, Patrick. No, I was saying, comparing yesterday and today, I think there's been an improvement in terms of me understanding the concept and all those. Thank you.
Sure, thanks. Mutweni,
Yes, Mr. Patrick. I agree with Ms. JM. Yeah, today was beneficial, but I think what helped me is to go through the concept on my own.
sure.
And, yeah, because yesterday I wasn't prepared enough, so I was getting lost there and there. But yeah, today I'm fine.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll even send the worksheet that we have, the updated worksheet on whatever we have looked at. Terence.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. I think like yesterday, the session was informative. I've learned a lot as well today, especially on the sensitivity analysis, because when we doing our assignment, we struggled a lot with that question, but now I think we understand it better, and if it comes in the exam, hopefully we'll do well. Thanks again, Mr. Patrick. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Terence. Mr. F 0154131.
Evening, everyone.
Oh, good evening.
On my side, yeah, I did learn a lot of things today, and yeah, just like yesterday, and yeah, especially when it comes to the sensitivity analysis, I hadn't done that, but yeah, at least after you've done it, I was able to see what's going on and stuff. And also I wanted to ask, under your YouTube channel, where do I go for, what do I write to get your videos?
No, there you just subscribe, you press the subscription button, then you can just check on the videos that interest you in these videos.
Is it the same name?
Yes, it's the same name, Fitzpatrick Katepe.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, and in your free time, just deal with it. I've put a lot on Excel. Just deal with that on your free time before you go into the exam. Because what I've observed, I think Excel is really needed. Yeah. Before you go into the modeling and all these other things. Rico.
All right, noted. Thanks.
Sure.
Yes, Patrick, thank you very much again. And from my end, it's always helpful, your classes, even because you know that even if you can't understand something on the basis of you teaching us, you know that you can always upskill yourself on your free time and compare it with what you have posted on YouTube. Yes, your principles are clear. You speaking about something that you know and you understand. I think that's how I also gain confidence in that and in your teaching, because you coming from the first principle, which makes things clear.
Sure. Okay, thank you so much, members of the academy. I'll miss you. Tomorrow is it's our last day. Afterwards, obviously, it will be difficult to find you. At least I have a few numbers. Siamo, I think, and Rico. Whenever I'm in South Africa, most of the time I'm there. I'll say, okay, guys, I'm at Cubana. Take me around or come here and just have some few drinks. Thank you so much. And it's always lovely presenting or learning from yourselves, because obviously the interactions are always educative. Thank you so much and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
bye.
Bye.